Right then, for this week's video, we're going to use this piece of oak again. And Laguna have finally been in touch with me over the relay problem, and you're not going to believe this one. Right then, this week's video is going to be a bit of a weird one, alright? Because I'm turning something I've never turned before, because I've never been asked for one before, and I'll tell you how this came about. But the main point of this video is Laguna Europe, and you're not going to believe this, right? Right then, so what I'm going to turn is a Spurtle. For anyone who doesn't know what a Spurtle is, it's a traditional Scottish tool for storing porridge, right? I have never been asked for a Spurtle before. I've never turned one. I've never had a reason to. I did Bike Fest this weekend. Brilliant as usual. Fantastic festival. And I will say, bikers have a reputation that they don't deserve. Some of the nicest people I've ever met, right? But no exaggeration, I would say at the festival between 15 and 20 people asked me had I got Spurtles. As I said, I've never been asked for one before. There must be something going around social media or something about Spurtles, because I've never been asked for them before, right? They're a really simple project. I, of course, came home, did some research on it, because as I said, never turned one before, right? They're really simple, and they seem to be a fashion item lately, right? Right, a Spurtle, as I said, it is basically a stick, right, with a certain shape, a certain traditional shape, normally made out of oak or beech, right, and it's for storing porridge. It's a Scottish item, right? So what I have in here is I have a piece of oak from that chunk of oak at the intro, right? It's about 1 inch by 1 inch. Gonna round it off, then turn the Spurtle. As I said, it's really simple. It would be a great beginner's project, right? But we'll get going with this, and I'll get into this absolute stupidity. It's the only way I can describe it, from Laguna in Europe, right? So we'll get this rounded off, and then we'll get into the story. Right, then we're rounded off. Now, traditionally a Spurtle has a thistle up here at the handle, and it's basically just a tapered stick. There might be something fancy about there, which we're gonna do, right? But right, so what I'll do is I'll grab a narrow parting tool just to give myself some marks wherever I left it there, right? Right, I want to square it off there. Now, normally you can turn these between centres. I just have this stuck in a chuck so I can sand that end easier. Right, that'll do for the top bit of the thistle. That'll do for the ball. Right. Now all I gotta do is fairly simply turn a thistle at the top. You can do this any tools you want. Right. I just have to look gorgeous. I would say if you wanted to practice skew, this would be a very good project for it. Right. Now we'll take this down a little bit so we can get the ball in. Round this ball over a bit more. Right. And what I'll do is, because this is a really quick project, I'll tell you all about I can't get over it, but the absolute stupidity of Laguna Europe in a minute, right? Because everybody knows I have been one of the biggest proponents of Laguna in Europe. Since they came here, but I will be withdrawing that. Right, there we have a little ball shape, and I want to put a little bit of a detail in there. Now we'll just get the rest of this down. We'll just get the rest of this down. Now, apparently Spurtles are not straight. There's kind of it goes thin in the middle and then out wider again, right? I just want to neaten up this here to bring it into the thistle, right? Now we'll go from there. I don't like that core. There, that's nicer, right? Now we go from here. We'll thin it out a little bit. Let me bring it back out wide. Right. Now we just start at the end. Right. Out there, but depending on which description you read, they're between 12 and 13 inches long. Right, and there's like a little ball on the end of them. Now, if anybody can tell me why these all of a sudden seem to have become a fashion statement, as I said, it'd be great. Is there some show that has been aired here in Ireland? that has brought them into fashion or something. Well, as I said, in 40 odd years I have never been asked for a Spurtle, but at this thing I was asked so many times it wasn't funny. That's basically the turning on this. Alright then, now I'll slow that way down and we get to sanding it. Right, now Laguna in Europe. Right, I mentioned it a few weeks ago that I was having a problem with the relay in the control panel. Right, and some of the guys who over in the States who have been using Laguna longer than I have told me, yeah, it's a well-known problem, it's this relay and just change it and it'll sort it out. Grant, no problem. So I got on to Laguna Europe. Must have been about 3 weeks ago or so. I got back and they eventually got back to me. Right, and it was a case of, yeah, we can supply that part. Right, and they sent me an invoice. Right, this is the part you're not going to believe. Right, and I have this written down up here so we can actually read it. Right, the original price of the piece without VAT of this relay is €28.08. With the VAT, it's €34.54. Fine. No problem. If I want to get it, it is going to cost me €136.69. That is just mental. Right? And so I got back onto them. And I told them that basically what I thought, that is flipping crazy. That they're supposed to be Laguna in Europe. If we want spare parts, we're supposed to be able to get them. The answer I got was, and I also told them that I would be saying it in the next video that I'm shooting, which is this one. Right? The answer I got was, you're totally within your rights to tell everybody, but the price is the price. Basically, tough. Right? Now, I have been a proponent of Laguna since they came. Now, don't get me wrong, they still make great machines. Right? But that kind of after-sales service, everything I have said up to now about, yes, buy Laguna, they're great. Right? And there was never this problem when Axminster had the franchise, but then of course Brexit screwed that up, and but this new crowd, just to be quite honest, they don't seem to give a damn. Right? Now, just in case nobody believes me, and to be quite honest, if somebody just told me this, I wouldn't believe them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a picture now of the invoice I got. You might want to pause it to read it, but I have all the prices marked, right? And you will see what the story is. Right, so I'm going to stick that up now. Right, so there's the proof, and before anybody even thinks it, this isn't sour grapes or anything. I wasn't looking for special treatment. I was just looking for a part. And the price difference, basically, it's going to cost me over €100 to get the piece here. Right? Instead of them having it in stock, which as a main supplier, they should have, in my opinion. They don't have it in stock. Right? Now, in this, I have a favour to ask, if somebody wouldn't mind, because I am going to need this piece. At the moment, I can control the lathe with the speed, right? If I don't touch the on and off button, right? if one of yous over in the States wouldn't mind, could I possibly get the relay delivered to somebody over there and just stick it in the post to me? I will of course pay everything, right? Just as a favour, if somebody could do that, that would be great, right? I will just order it and send it to basically you, and if you would just post it on here, if you contact me privately, like everybody knows how to find me on social media and stuff, or you can just email me. It's the email address is in this channel description kind of thing, right? If somebody could do me an absolute favour, because paying €136 for a piece that costs 34 to me is just absolutely crazy. Now, I also told them I was going to say this, right? Because I don't go behind somebody's back. If you were thinking about buying some Laguna equipment and you were hemming and hawing between Laguna and some other company, go with the other company. Do not buy Laguna. If you're in Europe, their after sales is disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. I think, well, I don't know, so I'm not going to speculate, but the after sales on is completely and utterly beyond a joke, right? So as everybody knows, I have been a proponent of Laguna since they went into Europe, because I think their equipment is very good. But the fact that if something happens, even something small like this little relay, that you can't get it without basically being extorted, I would go with someone else. Like, when I was originally buying the new lathe, about 5-6 years ago, whatever, I was bouncing between this and the FU. I can't remember which one it was, but if I had to do it again, I'd buy the other lathe, because at least then I could get some after sale service. But this is just, I'm sorry I'm ranting about this, but this is just absolute lunacy, right? It wouldn't be accepted if a European company did it. So, as I said, just absolutely nuts. Right, so that's sanded down to 240, right? Traditionally, on a Spurtle, there is no finish. It's burnished. So I'm just going to grab some and burnish this, right? Now, as I said, normally these are done between centres, but just for neatness and me doing the end of that thistle, I'm after doing it like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to part off that end, sand the end of it, and just part it off and basically hand sand that end. As I said, pretty short video. Seems that I have knocked the macro camera down, so that won't be in this video. I'm just really annoyed about this. As I said, I wasn't looking for any special treatment or anything like that. I just wanted a spare part. And it's not very often that something annoys the hell out of me, but this did. And what I will be doing as well is I will be sending a link to this video to Laguna head office over in the US, just in case they are unaware of what's going on over here. Right. Now, I have been in contact with them before when I got an email from this new crowd, IGN, saying that they may not be able to supply the part because the lathe is so old. The lathe is 5 years old. Right, okay, it was one of the first ones in Europe, but it's not that old. Right? And what they seem to have a habit of doing is just forwarding the email on and going to IGN and go, here, sort this out. Right? But I am, how to put it, officially withdrawing support for Laguna. And if I could afford it, I'd replace this lathe. But I can't. Right. Now, I do have another lathe coming. It's from my little fella. And I'll tell you more about that when it comes. Right. I'll tell you why I'm getting it. There's a couple of reasons I'm getting it. But it's only a small little mini lathe. So it's not even close to this one. Right, I'm just going to part this off and then I'll sand the end. Right, and I'll be back and give you a look at the whole thing when it's done. So I'll see you in a minute. Right then, now we have our little Spurtle. Thistle on the top. I should have probably gone a bit thinner there. But thistle on the top. I said it's a really simple project to do. It'd be great for beginners. It's something I've never done. I was never asked for one. As I said, I think it's something must have gone around talking about these or something. But I'm not joking you, 15-20 people must have asked me, do I have Spurtles? So that's it. Simple video. Sorry I went ranting, but you can understand why. And as I said, if anybody can actually do me that favour, I would be really grateful. So if you enjoyed that one, or got nothing of it, if you won't click and like in the video, stay away from Laguna Europe, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one.